Lead together, embrace change, enhance everyone's journey. The 3 core principles of SmartStop, a leader in self-storage real estate across North America, reinforce why we're proud to bring you SheEO Lead-In, the podcast featuring curated conversations with powerful women sharing their impactful wisdom. It's a self-knowledge, self-discovery, and self-preneurship audio storage vault created by and for women. SmartStop's presentation of SheEO Lead-In begins right now.
Have you ever felt that you as a woman may not appear to measure up when you see incredible women in strong roles? You may be surprised when hearing from women in these positions and how we all share many of the same challenges. Thank you for joining us for the SheEO Leading-In podcast with Rebecca Jones as we share the journeys of women.
Hello, I'm Rebecca Jones, your host of SheEO Lead-In. We are on an exploration together to discover more about the personal journeys of incredible women in both career and life. We all have paths to share that sometimes take incredible turns, deep resilience, and courage to navigate. My hopes are that the challenges shared here encourage women to take leaps of faith and growth when a journey feels too difficult or unachievable. There is great strength deep within each one of us. These stories are meant to share the ways strong women have taken their dreams to strive and thrive to new heights, despite their sometimes rocky paths, and found a way to lead in. Today we're here with Sabrina Covington with Covington & Associates and Hanson Realty. How are you today?
I'm doing so great. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm thrilled to have you. I really want to hear about your story. You've actually done a lot of really amazing things. And we were kind of talking about that before we started. So we're going to talk about some of that. But let's start with a fun short story of when you were a kid. Something that you look back and you go, that was fun. That was funny.
Fun and funny. So I was a pretty cute little girl. When I was little, I was born in LA in California, but my dad got a job transfer to Shreveport, Louisiana. So I grew up very Southern. I've lost my accent for the most part, except for someone said it came out last night when I said, he was a sweet angel. Anyway, so someone said, that's your Louisiana. But I am definitely a Shreveport girl, Louisiana girl. You just can't hear it all the time. But I love that Southern culture. So we moved to Louisiana and had a pretty nice upbringing, but my dad was very rigid. And one story that kind of creeps up from time to time is the bumper boat story. And my dad took us on vacation and we went to, I think, Pensacola, Florida. I have a brother. And we were supposed to be on vacation, but my dad is very rigid. He's a very rigid, planned out person. So that is not that much fun sometimes as a kid. But we were driving into Florida and we drive past this like boomers type place with water slides and bumper boats. And my brother and I were like, we want to go there. And my dad's like, okay, I'll take you there on Tuesday. And then we're like, okay, great. Well, Tuesday rolls around and it's pouring rain, gray outside. And he's like, let's go. And I'm like, we don't want to go, Dad. And he's like, no, we said we're going to go. So we're going. So we were the only people there. And to this day, I have like trauma when I see like water bumper boats. And like, it's just a running joke in our family because he made my brother and I like do bumper boats in the rain because we're going to do what we're saying. We're committed. And I'm like, Dad, you got to go with the flow a little bit, So now I really do my best to go with the flow because I don't want situations like that in my life.
Yeah, you don't want to do the bumper boats in the rain. It's kind of like when I went on California Dreaming on the rainy day. It was Good Friday. It was pelting my eyes. It was hard.
I've done that. Yeah, I think I've looked at that recently as far as like, I'm so hardcore about doing what I'm going to say I'm going to do. And I was having this conversation with my daughter because she was supposed to come home from college last week. And she's like, but I said I'm coming home. But I'm like, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Right.
It's pouring rain, drive from LA. You only get to stay one night. Why don't you just skip it? And just giving people permission to have a hybrid model of sticking to their commitments, but also listening to your intuition and going with the flow.
That's actually really good advice. Who knew that your story was actually going to be a tidbit of advice too? So, how long have you been doing real estate, and what did you do before?
So I have been in real estate for about 23 years. When I got my license, my first daughter, Cedar, was a little bitty baby because I just used to hold her and study for my real estate exam when I lived. I actually lived off the grid on Palomar Mountain, which surprises a lot of people. I lived off the grid for 7 years in the woods, and that's where I started my real estate career on Palomar Mountain. So it's been 23 years, and about 10 years ago, I think next week, it'll be 10 years that I incorporated and started my own brokerage. And before that, I was in the medical field. I'm a registered dietitian, and we spoke about that briefly. I got into some public health initiatives in San Diego County and was in the clinical part of being a dietitian working in hospitals for a very long time. And that was great, but I only did that because my dad wanted me to be a nurse. And so I was trying to find the closest thing to being a nurse without being a nurse. So I became a dietitian, but it wasn't really my true calling.
And you did the candy buyback. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I started the candy buyback. I got into public health initiatives with kids nutrition. I ran a nonprofit called Healthy Kids Choice. We worked on kids menus in school, not schools, restaurants. And I was the business domain. I think everything in my life was leading toward business. Mm-hmm. I was getting pulled toward the business sector. So I was the business domain champion for the Childhood Obesity Initiative, worked with dentists throughout the county on the candy buyback and kind of launched that and did a lot of different things.
I love that. You're very multifaceted.
Oh, it's getting ready to get ramped up.
Oh boy, can't wait to hear about that. So let's talk a little bit about success and failure, because I think with every person that's successful, you definitely have to have some failure, but you have to learn from that too. So what can you share a story with us?
Oh, sure. I think I had some failures in being employed. So we just had an issue. I have a disabled daughter that was just let go from a job yesterday. And there's some factors in there that are not very pleasant. And so I was thinking back on, I've been fired from jobs and honestly don't think I was a very good employee. I think I was an okay employee. But I've lost a couple of positions because I think I was destined to own my own company and be an entrepreneur. It's just so painful. It's a painful path realizing that. And I was talking to my older daughter about that last night. You know, I've been let go from jobs in the medical field, and I've had those painful annual reviews and things like that. But I know the path that was for a reason. I don't think I was destined to be anyone's employee.
I've been only let go of one job, and it was because I was sexually harassed. I was actually in real estate, and I was working for 2 agents, and their client was very handsy with me, and I didn't appreciate it, and I told them so, and I ended up getting let go. Only time I've ever been fired from a job. Well, I not really fired. They said they were letting me go, but I went, oh, well, I know what this is all about. It's because your client was doing inappropriate things. So I stood up. And to our listeners today, you always need to stick up for yourself. Always.
Well, I stuck up for my daughter who has a disability on Sunday, and on Monday she got fired. But you know what? It's okay. I don't mind standing up for her. She's a sweet angel.
Somebody needs to do it for sure.
Yeah. And I don't, you'll hardly ever hear me call myself a single parent, but I am, because I don't like that label. Single mom, I definitely don't like, because I think it has a really sad overtone. Because I love being a single parent to my girls. We are just a tribe. We are fierce. And I have no issue with it. And I really don't care for that label, but I am my daughter's conservator, and I'm her legal conservator. And I have a court-ordered role of standing up for her. So I'm going to do it.
You go, girl.
Thanks.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about, in life, you've got this life, this personal life, and then you've got your work life. How do you balance the two? Because I would say some of the time I'm going, oh, I'm doing great right now. And then other times I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm failing so bad. What are your thoughts about that?
I think I've done it for so long. I used to take my kids, to work with me and leave them in the car. And, I just always feel like there should be like special therapy for kids of realtors, because you get largely ignored and put off for phone calls and last minute appointments. And my kids have just been incredibly flexible with me and loving, and appreciate all I do for them. But balance is probably like a fallacy of some sort. I don't think there is much balance to be had. It's something that just becomes a part of you.
Fun fact, my mom's a realtor.
Yay. She's still a realtor, right?
She is, yes. I was 16 or 17. So you forgot about the part about the sad thing about realtors' kids is a lot of times you have to go out and farm with them. So you're meeting people,
door knocking,
and you're stuffing, and you're doing all kinds of things that you're stuffing envelopes and that sort of thing. Yeah, lots of fun things. Going to open houses, getting the signs, putting up the signs. Do the name writers. I don't know if they still do that, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
There's so much hustle and so much physical demand being a realtor that people don't realize. It's kind of like parenting, you're lifting kids and you're hauling stuff, and like it's same with real estate. It's not always cute.
No, but there is a good part of it that it actually allows you to be there for your kids when you really want to be.
There is. I'm exploring a lot of new avenues right now, and I'm really excited. It does provide a lot of flexibility. You get to have flexibility, and then you have to be flexible.
Yeah, definitely. So let's delve a little bit into being a female. And I think there are a lot of females in real estate. But have you ever had a situation where there's been some conflict with one of your coworkers, or maybe another agent that you have a listing with, or a sale with, or something like that, where you've kind of found that there was a female?
Mm-hmm. Well, I find a little bit of friction with husband and wife teams.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a mirror from me, because I was a team with my ex-husband for a short time, and he didn't really do anything. So I think I have this program that says one of those two is not doing anything, and they're presenting as a husband and wife team. And being a female real estate is a great career for females because we're largely accepted. When I started diverting into commercial real estate, I did get a little bit of kickback, which I loved, to be honest, because people remembered me in a sea of, I would say, generally older males in commercial real estate. Mm-hmm. And that's obviously a general statement. It's not always true. I absolutely loved it because people knew who I was when I called. I never got mixed up with anybody else, and my name wasn't Bob, and it was all good. And I'm still in the commercial sector, and I absolutely love it.
Well, you're dynamic too on top of it.
Thank you.
So you being dynamic, you making an impression. Yeah, I think it would be very difficult to forget you, Sabrina. I don't think it actually would be possible, which I love that about you. And that is absolutely 100% a compliment. And I think not enough women tell other women how wonderful they are. And I really wish they did it more, because we need to uplift one another. And I mean, so I'm telling you right now.
Thank you.
Here's my moment.
And you do this all the time. Look at your podcast. I mean, This is what you're doing.
Yeah, we have some great, amazing women out there that just don't get enough accolades or love from their sisters. So we need to change that. And it starts with us. So
well, right back at you.
Oh, well, thank you.
And I love these suits. Are these custom suits you wear?
No, I just have everything tailored so that it actually fits.
Okay.
But I buy it off the rack. Yeah. I'm into the colorful suits. I think it's a thing.
I love it.
Yeah, I love it too, because, with every career, I don't know about you, and I feel like you might experience this too. So with my profession, there's a lot of men in it. And I had a lot of people say to me, "Ooh, should you wear such a bright suit? Oh, is your hair a little too glamorous? Oh, your lash extensions, or oh, too much makeup." And I'm thinking, I don't even wear a lot of makeup. And I'm thinking, what? Don't try to change me. I think that's the beautiful thing about women is we're all different. There's something special about us, but we should never be changed. We just should be ourselves.
I think it's fun. I think we have a license to create a more colorful image. Then, if anything, men should be given that same right to to create a more iconic style without being put in a category.
Yeah. But no, they all wear the black suits and gray suits, and they're just very, very dull.
So I think we have the license. I think we should give it to men as well to be a little bit more creative in their clothing.
I agree. So let's talk a little bit about, have you ever had men actually working for you?
Yes, I had a husband and wife team. I have a very person of very high esteem as one of my agents right now, Paul Van Eldren. He's been selling real estate for, I want to say, almost 60 years.
Wow.
He is he's one of my agents and is part of Hanson Realty. So it's a real honor to have such a patriarch in the industry. He helped develop the Auto Parkway in Escondido and has many other, large accomplishments. And he's so lovely when he introduces me as his broker at Rotary meetings and whatnot. It's very cute. I love it.
That's amazing. So no resistance. It's all good.
No, when they needed a new broker for Hanson Realty, they called me and I was flabbergasted because they were established in the 50s and have such a long-standing name in North County. And I almost thought I was being pranked. They're like, we want you to interview to be our broker. And I'm like, what is happening right now? Which is kind of a theme for me, is I get surprised by things. I don't specifically try to say, I want to go out and do this or specifically manifest something. It's just something that happens to me. And that's happening more frequently these days because I feel like I'm open to it.
So let's have a quick smart stop and then let's get back to that.
SmartStop knows the winning connection is when we elevate success together. SmartStop Self Storage, a California company with nearly 200 properties and over 15 million square feet of rentable storage in the US and Canada, is committed to positively impacting the communities we serve on the national and local level. By aligning our core principles of leading together, embracing change, and enhancing everyone's journey with local initiatives focused on education, health, and social welfare, we all elevate together. Through financial and strategic partnerships with nonprofits and prestigious organizations such as Cloudcast Media, Arrow McLaren IndyCar, Breast Cancer Research Foundation, Wounded Warrior Project, USC Athletics, the Brampton Steelheads, MMA fighters and boxers, and other unique athletes, we aim to foster a sense of unity and pride within the communities we serve, creating a shared identity and generating a positive atmosphere. To learn more about our core values, our locations, and career opportunities, please visit us at smartstopselfstorage.com. SmartStop, elevating success together.
So you're flabbergasted when the good things happen? Explain that to me.
I study a lot of different things, and one of the things I study is human design, in which in that I am what's called a non-specific manifester. So you hear a lot about manifesting, like, I want to be mayor or I want to own a company. I'm not really like that. I just try to keep myself open and in faith, and things happen to me, which is hard to teach. It's hard to teach like a younger, let's just say a female executive, like, just let things happen to you. Who's going to teach that? Like, that's not a real message you want to be teaching because it seems lazy, but it works for me. So the other day, and if you don't mind me getting a little toward the spiritual side, I just heard a message that said, you're going to be in a movie. And I was watching a movie and I heard a message, you're going to be in a movie. And I thought, okay. And then I heard, don't worry about how it's going to happen. And then a week later, I got a call from a movie scout who needed a building, wanted one of my vacant commercial buildings to film a cop scene. And they needed a release and they needed the owner's name. And I set it all up. And I called the owner and he's like, no, it's too much liability. I don't want a movie filmed in my building. And I was like, are you sure? Can you not just do it? And he said, would it help you personally? And I said, yes, it would help me personally. And so he signed the waiver. And I told the movie producers that they would have to let me be in the movie if they were going to use my building. And now I have a speaking role in a feature film that we filmed last Tuesday. So
what?
When things just, and then one of the other actors said, you realize like your first role is a speaking role in a feature film, like with an IMDb credit. He's like, you just pretty much skipped like 4 or 5 years of hustle, like trying to do something like that. And I'm like, I'm just following my faith, following the source, and just going with the flow, which has taken me a long time to learn.
Very interesting. Well, I think when you're positive, that good things will end up happening to you.
And it's all about our programming too. I had what I would now call a negative program from my early real estate career that if I diversified, people wouldn't take me seriously as a realtor. And I held that program for 2 decades. And I recently released that program because I think people take me seriously after all these years. I think I can be taken seriously in real estate. And I'm just releasing control over feeling like I can't diversify.
That's an interesting idea that you just shared. Because I think a lot of people from their childhood have these perceptions of what they are supposed to do, what they should do. And a lot of us just go, yeah, that's not me. I'm not going to do that. And so I think it's interesting you use that word.
With the programming.
Yeah.
And I think young people today are given a lot more liberties to follow their gut instinct for what they want to do. My oldest daughter's graduating from art school in a couple of months, and she's going to be mega successful. She's already slated to interview with the top ad agencies in the world. And her instructor, her toughest instructor, told her that she's in his top 3 students of his entire career. But when we were young, art school was like, what are you doing that you can't do that? Like, there's no profession there.
Right.
And all of that has changed. But I think that struggling artist, I want to say like Avatar or like that struggling artist person was pitched to us when we were young, at least in my age bracket, as somebody that's not serious. Well, there's no one more serious than my daughter Cedar. Like, she is very serious about her advertising career. So I think it's just really fun what's happening now in the career world, because so many things are validated and as career paths.
Well, and I think people are changing more too. They might go, this really isn't for me. And the shame is when they go to college, they're all in on a career and they haven't ever done any internships in it. And then they get in and they go, this really isn't for me. In a book, it felt good, but now it's just not quite my path. And I think people are changing careers more.
Well, yeah, I have a friend whose son went to college recently and was in his dorm for 2 days and said, I don't want to be here. And they flew him back home. I just think that's new. Yeah. I don't think, when I went to college, I used to cry to my mom on a payphone because it was so hard, but they weren't going to I was going to finish college because that's what was going to happen. And I appreciate the tenacity of that, but I think we're giving young people more liberty to follow their intuition these days. And when my daughter said, I want to go to art school, I thought the same thing from the old program, which is, I don't think that's a very great idea. And then when I started touring the art schools, I was like, these are phenomenal career paths.
And look how happy she is.
She's so happy.
Yeah, that there's a lot to be said for that too. So let's talk a little bit about role models and mentors. Who's your role model and mentor?
That's I'm sure it could be multiples. I think about a lot. My mom's definitely a role model. She is a very positive thinker, and she's an incredible person. And she got back into her profession of nursing when my dad lost his job when I was a freshman in high school, which changed a lot for me. It changed quite a bit. But one thing cool about my mom is that she, every single day of her life, she has gotten up and looks like you. And if there's only audio on this recording, Rebecca looks amazing in her colorful blue suit. and her jewelry. And even when my mom, for years and years and years, was a stay-at-home mom, and many times didn't even have to drive us to school. We used to carpool. So she essentially had nothing to do all day. She'd be dressed to the nines.
Interesting.
Full makeup, full Southern lady. And that's such a subtle message, which is, hey, I might be a stay-at-home mom. I might be a nurse. I might be this or that for the day. And she just lipstick on, dressed to the nines every day.
She took care of herself.
She took care of herself. She prioritized herself, and she still does. She's in her 80s. And if I just swing by her house, hey, like, I'm working in Valley Center, are you home? And she'll be sitting on her couch dressed to the nines with lipstick on, just watching the news or whatever. So I think that's subtle and sophisticated and feminine and a beautiful message.
And it's okay to do that.
Yeah.
It's okay to do that. So, let's talk about some lessons that you've learned, because I believe there are many, but things that you think that you would love to share with young women that are important, that you believe will help them in their lives.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Following your gut and learning a lot about how we're designed, what your personality is. I think my personality has changed over the years and blossomed. I think studying things that I've studied, I referenced human design. I think that's a really fun one specifically for business. So there are categories such as manifestor, generator, projector, and reflector, and you can kind of feel what those words mean. And I discovered that I am a generator. Generators are more like magnets for good things. And we just have to leave ourselves open for opportunities, which is what I'm doing more and more and more in my life. And so not just professionally, but otherwise. Whereas a manifestor is someone that's more like, a manifestor falls into a lot of the doctrine of real estate coaching, which is you got to wake up and call 5 of your past clients before noon, and you have to do this and you have to do that, and you have to go out and get it. Whereas being a generator, that does not work. That will fall flat and be pretty embarrassing. And trust me, I've tried it because I've gone to real estate training over the years where it's like kind of male dominant, kind of masculine in energy, and very manifesting and very goal oriented. And you have to do this and you have to do that. That never worked for me. And I finally put the pieces together that doesn't work for me. So sometimes you just have to let things happen, and not enough people allow that or teach that because it sounds a little funny,
Well, it seems to me your dad, not knowing everything about your dad, but your dad was more of a manifestor and you were a generator. Was there a little bit of discomfort in that?
A lot of discomfort when I decided not to be a nurse. He would still cut out articles about nursing and mail them to me. And I remember going to my little P.O. box at TCU, and there'd be some cutout article. But my dad is an incredible person. And he actually came from an illiterate household, was born into a small farming house. His parents worked in the canning industry. His dad was illiterate and made it up to the top management role that he could get to, not being able to read. Mm-hmm. And my uncle, the same. My uncle passed recently and was incredibly successful businessman. So I always thought of them as like country mouse and city mouse, because my dad ended up putting himself through UCLA and becoming a CPA and a VP of an oil company. So he did that completely on his own. And my uncle never learned how to read. In fact, my uncle gifted me half of my down payment for my house for me and my girls, but he couldn't write the gift letter to the lender that the lender required. He was unable to draft the gift letter.
Wow.
So the lender had to write it for him.
Wow.
And so I really treasure coming from that background of just hard work and grit. But I want to layer that cake with flow and intuition, and really have a hybrid model of that hard work.
Well, and the reason that I bring it up is because it's okay to be different from your family. Like, they could have all these expectations for you. You may meet none of them, and that's okay. And I think as women, don't you find that a lot of women, not necessarily you, because I don't think you, but I've definitely seen it in myself, where I was afraid to go outside of that comfort bubble because I didn't think that my family would support me and could see me doing that. And maybe then I couldn't do it. Maybe I didn't have the capability to do that. Do you know what I'm saying?
It's hard. When I left my last dietitian job that paid hourly, because it was consulting, and told my mom that I was going to be a commission-only realtor, I think it was double gulp, because both of my parents, they very much embodied like feminine, masculine energy traditionally in traditional roles. They were both very security minded. And having two kids, being the sole wage earner, going commission only, having a child with a disability was super scary for them. But then, they trusted the process. They don't oppose you, but they certainly don't embrace it because it feels so scary for them.
Yeah.
Coming from like a CPA and an RN, it's like, get that job security, And, but I just had to trust and believe in myself.
But look at you now. All right. So you walk into a room of young people. What would you say to them? This is what I need you to know.
Okay. So I actually have a real answer for this because I am part of a Rotary group, and I met with a bunch of young gals at our Taste of Rancho Santa Fe event. And my Rotary partner introduced me as someone of some sort of importance. And then I had all these young women standing in front of me. They wanted me to tell them something. And what I told them was, don't worry about your career choice, because remember, it is your first career. And statistically, you will have 2 to 3 careers. So take the pressure off yourself, because remind yourself when you're choosing a career path or going to college, you are simply picking your first chapter. And the second and third chapters are unwritten, and you might have careers in industries that don't exist yet.
Ooh, that is really good.
And we forget, and we put this pressure on young people to make these big decisions, but they're only decisions in part.
Yeah.
And they were so happy with that advice, because it's like, okay, maybe I can follow my gut because I'm only choosing the next few steps.
Right. Not my forever.
Not my forever.
Right.
And I think we really need to send that message to young people.
Absolutely. And, 40 years ago, it was different. People didn't change their careers very often. I think now it's become more commonplace. And I think people are happier with their jobs and their careers, and just in general with, the work product. Because when you love something, it doesn't even honestly feel like work most of the time. I mean, you've got to just love connecting with people and helping them find a home. That's a big deal. It's our biggest expense. And
it's a big deal.
It's a big choice to make. Am I going to live here for 30 years? Maybe not, but I need to think that I am going to.
That's a great example. Like you remember that when you purchase a home, you're probably not going to live there forever. And now I have, in being in the commercial sector, people call me because they want to open their business. And that's really exciting.
Yes.
Because I do think there is a false belief that commercial, and I hear this, that commercial real estate is less emotional than residential real estate. I don't find that to be true whatsoever. I think people that call me that because they want to, open a market on Grand Avenue in Escondido, or they want to move their church, or, how is anyone to say that's not emotional? That's emotional and really fun and exciting. Definitely. There's not a stoicism to commercial real estate that people perceive. That's a false perception.
I think so too. So what's next for you?
What's next for me? I've given myself the license to diversify. I'm really empowering my agents to get more boots on the ground with working with our clients, and acting in movies is a dream that I've always had. So I filmed my first feature film on Tuesday, and that all happened organically.
All right. Well, then anything could happen,
Anything could happen.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's been a blast. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now that was powerful. We hope you've been lifted and encouraged by today's inspiring voice. Always remember that life doesn't look exactly the same for each one of us. Never stop dreaming, striving, and thriving. In future episodes, we look forward to bringing you powerful stories from amazing women who learned how to lead in to challenges. Thank you for listening and being part of our community with SheEO host, Rebecca Jones.
The incredible curated SheEO conversation you just enjoyed was brought to you by SmartStop, a leader in self-storage real estate and a company that upholds its core principles of leading together, embracing change, and enhancing everyone's journey. To learn more about SmartStop, please visit smartstopselfstorage.com.
Cloudcast Media.